Alright folks, today I want to review this Dacian Falx, made in Romania by Cristian Iamandi. Apologies if I mispronounced the name. He's made a larger Falx for me before, which I've tested, and so this is a shorter, single-handed, basically hand and a half version. You can use it either with one or two hands. If you don't know, the Dacians are a Thracian people with Scythian and Celtic influences, which inhabited an area close to the Carpathian Mountains in modern-day Romania. The Roman Emperor Trajan, or Trajanus, started two Dacian wars, one between the years 101 and 102, the other between 105 and 106. During that time, the Romans made some modifications to their equipment, among others reinforcing the helmet, which historians usually attribute to the Dacian wars, thinking that the Romans saw the need to improve the helmets after encountering this wicked blade here, which, by the way, evolved from a bronze sickle during the transition from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age. The Latin term falx, the plural, by the way, is falces, means literally sickle or scythe. The length was typically between 70 and 100 centimeters, or between 27 and 39 inches. There's quite a bit of variation in shape and curvature. You find some falces that have very pronounced forward curved points that you can strike with very easily. There are some that are somewhat straighter than this. This particular one here is a reproduction of a find in Ursiki. It's from the 1st century, and from what I can tell based on the picture, it seems that this is quite close to the original. Also, with the way the grip is fixed, you've got these bands of steel here that are ferrules, I guess you could call that, fixed with a rivet. You've got one on top and you've got the same at the bottom. You can see the tang right here, and the grip is made of two pieces. You can just about see the line there. Everything is very well finished. It's properly sanded and very tight fit. If you look at the close-up here, it's very obvious just how impressively tight the fit is. It's got some decorations on the wooden grip. I'm really impressed by the finish of this blade. I'll try to really show it, but this looks fantastic. This is like really a perfect satin finish. Like, it's very shiny and it's somewhat reflective, but it's not a mirror. I mean, it's kind of getting close to a mirror finish, but it's so smooth. Like, it's perfectly even, smooth from the spine to the edge, and it looks great. It's like really precise work overall. And the weight is, I don't know what the original weight, it might actually be hard to tell because of corrosion, but simply handling this reproduction, it feels right. That's all I can say. You know, just intuitively, this seems like the right amount of heft to it. It's not heavy at all. You can easily move this around. It's not tiring to swing. You can quickly change direction. And whether it's with one or two hands, with two hands, it feels really light. And it came with this really nice scabbard, a wooden core covered in leather. Fits the Falx very well. What I also like is that there is some leather glued onto it to protect the blade. So that is a really nice touch. It's got decorations on it as well, including my channel logo, which is really awesome. The stitching is very impressive on this. It's perfectly even and very tight, well done. This is really good work. I also got this knife here. It's a Sica. So it's basically, it's like a Falx, except much smaller in knife or dagger form. And same thing here, same construction, same kind of decoration, same finish. And this one is also really nice. It's also got leather glued in at the mouth of the scabbard for protection. So yeah, that's very well done. So on to the testing. This is one where I definitely am glad that I gave it a second chance, because at first it seemed like I wasn't able to cut through tatami mats with it, or at least not cleanly. And when I checked the edge, it's not extremely sharp by any means. In fact, I can gently drag it across my hand without cutting myself, but the cross section is really good. The way the grind has been blended into a remarkably smooth surface. So I figured, just looking at the blade geometry overall, I figured this might have been me. So I tried it on a ballistic gel dummy. Well, considering that the blade isn't terribly sharp, that is pretty impressive. Interestingly, it made a huge difference between striking the dummy uncovered and putting just a t-shirt on it. Well, I hit it better on the previous cut, but either way, that is a pretty dramatic difference between naked and just a t-shirt. Huh. Now, to be fair, that could say more about the inadequacy of this gel torso as an analog. A real torso is a bit more solid. This is super squishy. It doesn't have all the bones like I tried here with the pipe or the chest, but it's just not as solid. The advantage of this design here, with the point being curved forward, is that you can strike with the point itself. Oh, that's pretty nasty. The blade pushed the cloth into the wound. There's quite a bit of it in there. Yeah, I had to pull this much out. Looks like it just missed the end of this pipe here, but it tore in pretty far, like at least thumb's length. With the other one, we've even done tests against helmets, and yeah, it punctures the helmet and would give one hell of a concussion and possibly neck trauma or even broken neck, etc., etc. So that's where this is very effective, to really penetrate with the point. Tip cuts like this don't even really need any sharp edge. Just the tip itself can tear material open, and that's effective in and of itself. Well, good thing for the Romans that they didn't fight naked, huh? Otherwise, that would be Dacians 1, Romans 0. I did give it another chance because I figured, this should actually cut reasonably well if you do it right. So I focused on my form and did the best I could to deliver a cut with good edge alignment. Ha! It can actually cut quite well. It's not forgiving in terms of tatami cutting. Harder targets, that's a different story entirely. Cutting into wood, yeah, it hacks in there, no problem at all. And it's a very sturdy blade and edge too. With this kind of edge profile, I think that was the idea, that you have a very sturdy edge that can survive hard impact without rolling or chipping or otherwise getting damaged. And it does that beautifully. You can hack into wood over and over again, either with the edge or with the point, and it's perfectly fine. There's zero sign of damage or wear anywhere on it. In fact, now that I'm looking at the edge after the testing, it still looks new pretty much. You can't really see anything. There's some very, very minor surface scratches, but there's essentially nothing. I tried the Sica as well, but that one would really need a sharper edge to be able to deal with tatami. It's just a bit too small for that. I mean, maybe with perfect form, like 100% perfect, you could still manage, but as a utility knife, in my opinion, it should be sharper, but still very well shaped otherwise. And so overall, as far as sharpness is concerned, I did not want to sharpen this myself because of the flawless finish. And the thing is, the way it's done, if I wanted to replicate this, I really couldn't. I have neither the skill nor the tool needed to get this, perfectly even grind there. So if I tried to sharpen this, I would put a visible secondary bevel on it, which would just kind of mess with the aesthetics. I mean, you can see the micro bevel depending on the light. Right now I can kind of see it. There's of course one, but I would put more of a noticeable secondary bevel on if I did it with what I have available. So I don't really want to. Plus, I don't think it needs to. With the knife here, I think that needs a sharper edge for everyday tasks and whatnot, but this here, as a fighting blade, that's perfectly fine. You don't actually need any more. It does cut, if not with the edge, then definitely with a point. And speaking of point, you can actually thrust with this one. It's not obvious, you wouldn't necessarily think so with the forward curvature, but depending on how you hold it, if you wanted to thrust straight forward like this, yeah, of course, that will not work so well. But if you angle it, that's a different story. Then if you thrust forward like this, now you have a better angle on it, or like that. And I've done that on the ballistic gel dummy, and that actually works, even though it's definitely more effective to strike with the tip. So yeah, overall, I'm quite impressed by this. There's one thing I'm not too fond of, and that's the shape of the grip. This is clearly made by taking a round piece of wood and then flattening the sides. I do like that it tapers, so it becomes thicker toward the bottom, so that you know, keeps your hand nicely in there. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, like you can feel the edge alignment and everything. I would just personally prefer if it was a little flatter on the sides. It's still fairly round, especially toward the bottom here. It's not a big deal. It's just something that, like, if I might modify it myself maybe, but then again, no, I probably wouldn't, because then I would remove the decorations. So I'll probably leave it as it is. But yeah, that would be nice to improve that a little bit. Just make them a little flatter, so it's better in the hand. But otherwise, really nice. Really nice. It's a perfect finish. Clearly high quality steel. Very tight fit. Sturdy construction. Takes abuse, no problem. And seems close to the original. I don't know about the scabbard. I don't think any have really survived intact. There are some leather fragments that have been found. But either way, it works. He talked to me about a new version of the scabbard, by the way, that mounts it a little bit differently, which I think would be better. This one is fine, but the way it's suspended, it's really you're wearing it basically horizontally, which is okay. But personally, I prefer it at an angle. So this here would just be a little more out of the way. And when it's like this, you just, you know, bonk into things as you move around. So a more upright carry would be nice. But other than that, that's really all I can say. So, and I guess dual wielding these two would look right at home in fantasy games. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, excellent work. I'm definitely liking it, both of them, in fact. And I'll leave the link down below as usual, along with specifications. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Hope you found the review helpful. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, folks.